Um, so when I get a new listing, I just basically pull the information for all the surrounding neighbors, usually anywhere between 3 to 500 people, and I call them and
Three
just
to
let them.
500, that's good.
Yeah, I try to call as many people as possible because, of course, it's a numbers game.
Hmm.
Um, so I let them know, hey, I just listed your neighbor's house, and do you know anyone who's looking? And before they get off the phone, hey, do you know anyone who's looking to, or would you be looking to, purchase another property, sell another property in the future? That's
Okay.
that's simple.
Yeah. No, listen, that's simple. We're gonna I'm waiting. I have a feeling we're gonna get one nugget of information from this meeting today from somebody that I haven't thought of, that you haven't thought of, and we're gonna say, wow, wish I knew that years ago. So that's what we're really hoping for here. Anyone else have do some circle prospecting or want to give a shot at what they think it is before I get into the definition? Okay, fine. Well, Daniel, if you don't mind putting up the link, I know that that was the golden nugget. Okay, Laura, thank you. Daniel, if you don't mind putting up the link to the prospecting workbook for those of you who did not do that. For most of these meetings, we try and have a workbook. Of course, I've got a virtual background, so you can't see it. It's a guide. It's all it is a guide. So you could use it, you could not use it. You could fill it out entirely. Take it in the bathtub, read it cover to cover, talk about it with your friends. It's going to be great stuff. So, uh, basically, what I want you to really try and identify, if you are following along on the notebook, is do an analysis as Levette was talking about, some type of analysis of the neighborhood that you live in. Circle prospecting, this meeting is right up my alley personally. I hope that it's right up yours. I am a farmer. There's a close cousin of being a farmer is doing the circle prospecting. And for that, you want to understand everything that you possibly can within the neighborhood. One slight change to what Levette was saying um, is that if you really want to concentrate, it's almost like if you look through your bills every month, you've got, at least in my accounting, I have subscriptions, and then I have under subscriptions, constant contact, Zoom. So you have subcategories within that category. That to me is what circle prospecting is. So if I'm selling 17336 Northwest Circle, which I did, I want to be able to look at 40 homes in the immediate area. Again, this is Ed's plan. Your plan might be somewhat different, but just hear me out. I want to go, if you have two sides of the street, on this side, you got 10 houses that way, you got 10 houses that way. On the other side, you've got 10 houses this way and 10 houses this way. 10 times 4, 40 homes. That's my immediate circle prospect. Does it mean that we're ignoring everything else? No, Levette's got the right idea. If she can make all the phone calls, knock yourself out, that's great. But what I've said right from the beginning with all of you is that if you're able to take a micro look at your farm, if you're able to take a very small and focused look at being able to grow out your business, this is a close cousin of actual farming. You're really taking a look at just those people in that immediate area. Now, what can you do with those people? What would be different about those 40 people than what would be with, say, 400 or 500 people? Anyone want to have a guess before I pick on Levette or Alicia or Kenny or Eitan or somebody?
Those 40 people might be a little more familiar with the property, I guess.
Damn right. Okay. There's no trick question here. Levette's getting it. Levette's slamming out of the park, everyone. Don't let you get beat by Levette. You got to try and come up with some answers here. So Levette's right. It's going to be more familiarity. Why did I do 10 up, 10 around? If you look at the actual size of a lot, at least here in Florida, your area might be a little bit different. You're going to see that everyone in that immediate area tends to know one another. They also tend to be, has anyone heard the term nosy neighbor? Okay. People love to know. Now they're coming after you. Ed, how much is that listed for? Ed, who's their gardener? I really like that. Ed, who's their gardener? Their lawn's been bothering me. I hate them. You get both sides of the whole thing. So now you've got all this. What could be a reason for calling those 40 people? Make one up. I'm gonna before I throw some out there. Paula, what's a reason for calling the 40 people? And I'm going to ask Alicia right afterward.
Point of view. Let them pick their neighbor, or maybe they know somebody that wants the house, or if the house is already sold, they missed the beginning of it.
Fantastic. Maybe they know somebody that's actually looking in the neighborhood. Now you're not actually giving the direct sales pitch, which I know from my experience working with all of you that so many of you are allergic to. You don't want to say, by the way, let me sell your house. But now you got a reason. Look, Paula, I've got 1234 Main Street coming on the market. I know you live right next door. Do you know anybody that might want that place? And what's going to happen with that? Is that a conversation that's going to be inclusive of more conversation, or is that likely to frustrate the neighbor? Thoughts on this?
Well, I think that they would like it because a lot of people will ask you what it's sold for and what the house is like inside. They all want to know what their competition is.
Yes,
The house is-
exactly. We didn't add this to the book, and I might make a revised one to say this. Write this down. Sales jujitsu. Jiu-jitsu is a martial art where you're actually using the other person's body weight and size to your advantage. So when somebody throws a punch, you actually pull that punch and continue it and are able to move it. I'm no martial artist, but I've seen some of these jiu-jitsu masters and they're remarkable. This is jiu-jitsu when you're actually speaking to someone. Hey, guess what? I've listed the home right next to your home. Now you're not giving that sales pitch to them, which again, a lot of you are allergic to. What you're actually doing is giving data. What else? What would be a great way to get into a conversation with them? Well, I'm listing that house next to you, and you might see some activity. I want to make sure nobody parks on your lawn. I want to make sure that something's going on. Now you've got a real motivating reason. You're no longer that annoying salesperson. You are someone who's actually concerned for the neighborhood. You've gone from being a pushy nuisance to being an advocate for them. Do you see why this is powerful? You guys might not have considered this, and I know it sounds like the master of the obvious, but you could really begin to pick on and find out certain key pieces of information. And that's really what it boils down to for us. We're really trying to find that key piece of information. Okay, also on this, knowing the stats of those 40 homes, and ultimately, as Levette had said, the entire neighborhood. What is the average home value? I would add to this, what is the average cost per square foot? How many days on the market has been that average, and what is your average? If you're beating it, you want to highlight that. Everyone else spent 110 days on the market, but Hassan spent 85 days on the market, his properties. Absolutely. We want everyone to know how great that guy is. We want them to see all that. What else? What was the turnover rate? How many homes sold in the last 12 months? There have been 44 homes that sold here in my community in the last 12 months. We know this intimately. This is incredibly important from a data gathering standpoint. See, I want you to move from that whole mindset of being a salesperson to being someone who's kind of like that guy that everyone wants to talk to at the bar who knows every statistic about baseball. You ever meet one of those people? You have a passion for baseball, have a passion for stocks, have a passion for something. Wow, this is a guy that I'm going to get that information out of. That's what I'm trying to get you to be, because if you could become that person, that's it. You've got the sale. There's nothing more. Everyone getting me? Capiche? Huh? Avez-vous compris? Hello? Maybe? Okay. Um, the demographic profile, notwithstanding fair housing law, whether someone's male, female, gay, straight, black, white, all that type of stuff. I'm not saying that you need to put it out there, but you need to know it for yourself. So I've had people say this to me in the past. Well, isn't that a violation of fair housing law? No, at least not in Florida. If you're trying to gather information for your own purposes to understand who you need to market to, you know, forget what you're going to act upon. I don't want you to say something stupid like, you know, everyone knows gay neighborhoods are so much better to live in. They immediately open wine and cheese shops, and it's so exciting. By the way, every gay neighborhood that I've seen has grown that way. And I would love to buy a home in a gay neighborhood. But what I said, if I said that in a public forum, that could be construed as a violation of fair housing law. Don't do that. That's not what this is about. We're trying to get you to know a little bit more. So you're learning the demographic. Here's another thing, learning the common pain points. This is something that we could find out that there's a kid down the street that drives his motorcycle at 1 o'clock in the morning. This is a shared collective knowledge. If you actually know that, now you're going to be able to approach the neighbors with that question. Has there been a problem with noise at night? I'm just curious. So here's the thing, you guys don't want to sell, but you need to engage with the community. You need to engage with these people. I'm giving you reasons to be able to reach out to the neighbors. I'm giving you reasons. Everybody wants to be that source of knowledge. You know, my dad, who's now 87, about 15 years ago, got a flat on the Grand Central Parkway in New York. And of course, I was driving off to his rescue. He's my dad. I'm going to drop everything for my dad. Every one of you should. Um, did you know that person after person pulled over to uh, to help him? Now, you know, why is that? Because he looks helpless. Because I think people are inherently good. You know, notwithstanding the news that you see out there, when you see somebody that's an old guy that's on the side of the road, kind of looking at the tire, looking at a lug wrench, look, he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. You know what he didn't know it when he was 35, let alone in his 70s. He couldn't do it. So people really wanted to actually help. It's the same philosophy that I'm trying to get into you in your sales, that when you call them up with an actual question, what do you think? You know, I want to know a little bit more about the neighborhood as I am working on this property. It's another motivating reason to call those neighbors. My private coaching clients, the ones that I'm meeting with one-on-one, you know, we've gone over this. You know, we've gone over this, that we're actually trying to find that motivating reason to call. Okay. Competition. Who wants to talk about competition when it comes to farming? Any thoughts on this? And again, I'm going to default to a few of you in a minute. Hedeka, I want to hear from you. Richard, there's no excuse. I want to hear from you as well. Kenny, you know, I want to get you guys chatting here. Livette, go ahead. I could always count on Livette.
There is no competition, actually.
Okay, tell us your philosophy.
Well, I'm going to take my neighborhood. I know there's at least 10 other agents that I know in this neighborhood, and none of them farm the neighborhood. I send out text blasts, you know, I send out updates from the Civic League. But yeah, when I circle prospect, I get a lot of good feedback from it. Like people actually tell me, "Wow, I've never had anyone call me and, you know, tell me that a house is for sale in my neighborhood." I've gotten ton of business from circle prospecting. So
Sure.
I don't think there's any competition because no one is really doing it. Most agents don't even like making these phone calls. They don't. So they expect the MLS or whatever system you use to do the job.
Hallelujah. I agree with everything she just said. That is people, agents are inherently lazy. The fact that you're here means that you're not, and means that you're trying to come up with somewhat of an edge. Here's your edge. Make a list of these questions. We're going to get a you know, for those of you who jump on the website, a lot of you have asked for the links to the videos. Aton and Daniel work very hard on that. All of these things are archived. And Daniel, if you could give a couple times during this meeting the links to that so that all of our participants can watch after the fact. There's also a full summary as well as some of the questions that are coming up here. So when Livette comes up with, hey, one neighbor, what's the question? We're going to add Livette's question along with mine. So it's a work in progress. We're constantly changing all this. Let's talk. I mean, Livette said that she doesn't think that there's actual competition. Maybe not in the circle prospecting, but certainly in the neighborhood itself. You know, we see a lot of competition that's actually selling in there. How important is it to know the competition? I'm
It's
going to
very
put,
important, especially
yeah,
if you've seen the same name over and over again.
yeah, yeah. Richard, who's your big competitor? Again, I told you you're not getting away with being silent.
Yeah, you know, I'm on this to learn about
Okay.
uh, the prospects, the neighborhood prospecting, and unfortunately, I haven't been doing it. And you know, unfortunately, most of my business is just sphere business. But I do want to learn this, what you're talking about, because I need it.
Okay. Well, good for you. And by the way, if anyone's making a in their sphere and sphere alone, then knock yourself. There's plenty of other things that I go through that work. This is just one more brick in the wall for those that want to do it. And I think I really would love for you and everyone else to consider being a farmer. And this is one of the farming techniques. Knowing who the top three agents are in the neighborhood is crucial. I've given this example multiple times. There's Coke, there's Pepsi, and then there's everybody else. Third one is RC Cola. The fourth one might be Shasta. Everything else you don't know or you don't care about. That, unfortunately, is the way of each of these neighborhoods. So you want to be a or Pepsi in that neighborhood, and that's what this is all about. Good news, you could break it down into the smallest level and have that subcategory, as I was saying in the beginning of this meeting, just as your accounting has subscriptions and then constant contact and Zoom and the different subscriptions, you could have different lines of business within the community itself, and we could drill that down to really truly make it work. Um, so know the agent, know their name, know their recent sales. It will go something like this. I don't guarantee it. Number one will have roughly 30 to 50% of the market share. Number two will have about 20 to 30% of the market share. Number three will have maybe 10% of the market share. And then there will be everyone else. Everyone else is 25 to 30% that might be left over, or whatever the actual number is. That typically is what we see over and over and over again. When you realize that this is a pattern that doesn't only exist for me in Boca Raton, but exists for Hassan in Metro Detroit, and exists for Lisa in Arizona or Paula, you'll start to see once again, human nature doesn't change and the patterns repeat themselves. Learn the patterns, and then you will have a strategy and a structure to get you around. Okay, I'm excited by this. This is really, really good. Let's talk about some channels. What are some channels that you could actually utilize when it comes to communicating with all these? I'll give you an easy one. My monthly mail. Oh, look at this. Alicia raised her hand. I'm really excited by that. Hi,
I
Alicia.
was gonna, how are you? I was gonna say that, of course, I'm not gonna say it pronounced, the neighbor app, next door neighbor. You could use that to advertise, I think.
Next door.
Yeah.
Nextdoor.com.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. That's great. Have you had success with that? Or you're thinking theoretically?
I'm, yeah, I gotta be more consistent with using it. So, but I think it's a good option because I have one of my clients who's always on there and he'll call me and be like, give me information from it. So I do think it's a good app, a good app to be using.
While you're doing it, I've got to say, Daniel, you're a fucking time traveler. I mean, you got Nextdoor up there on the chat for everyone to read before she even said it. It's like remarkable here. This is like the greatest guy ever. Nextdoor.com. If you're not on it, get on it. It's free. Okay. I'm so glad that Alicia mentioned it. It's free, and you could see it's a window into all of the neighbors. Actually, I'm gonna pull this up at some point. Actually, I wish here we go.
I mean, everyone probably uses this already, obviously, but since we had our storm here at our hurricane, our my neighborhood app, well, not my neighborhood app, Facebook, we have like our own app, our own little page for our neighborhood, and that has been like being on that all the time and responding to people's questions and kind of being really active in that. I've noticed, I need to be more active, but agents that are definitely are getting business from that. So,
Yeah.
so if you have a neighborhood page, definitely I would be active on that because that will help.
It is here. Now I finally pulled mine up here. So I haven't been on Nextdoor in ages, but I do like the idea. This is Nextdoor. So for those of you who've not seen it, let's see, we got chats here. And so here's the different, you can see my last chat was September 22nd. So how much could I possibly be using it? But let's take a look. There's various groups, trying to find where they have the actual members. Help me out, Alicia, if you know where it is. But there is,
Let me look. Hold on.
yeah, take a peek. But the point is that Nextdoor basically creates a Facebook-like experience for all of the neighbors. And so, I started my own Facebook in this neighborhood um, about 10 years ago when nobody was using this thing, maybe 9 years ago. And so, sure enough, this thing grew around the neighborhood. And now I want to say 50% of the neighborhood is actually on this thing, but I'm trying to find where the the people are. These are the comments that people made. These are some recent comments that people made, and it not only gets your community, but the communities around you. Usually it becomes like, oh, here's hot yoga. Okay, I could care less. There's more yoga people. Then somebody throws up the fact that they've got a housekeeper. Anyone interested in pickleball? Hey, we love pickleball. And then you get the people who the chorus of people that complain. All these people complain and complain and complain. You get a lot of that, but within this, you're able to actually see hints of information. Daniel put up the in the chat this whole thing next door. I wish I was able to, again, Alicia, if you have anything to add to it, please do, because I think it's a good thing. Next door, write that down. Um, Door knocking. Who knocks on doors? Got to be careful these days. No. Okay. Kenny, talk to me about door knocking.
Yeah, yeah. I've gotten listings off of not only my listing, but other people's listings when it pops up, right? So just not only circle market. I mean, one area I do is a little part of West LA. Competitions there. I know the competitors there. I'll even talk about them, but um, I even had one. I sold a lot to a builder, and then three doors down, after knocking, find the people that are in trouble. I mean, they didn't tell me they didn't want to tell me when they were in trouble, but then they called me after I left. And then I've gotten about, just one little spot near where I used to have a place. Uh, and it works. It definitely works.
Okay. Very good.
Even
Uh,
doing, even if you're having a estate sale or something at the property and invite them. I mean, there's always like, I do a lot of condos too. So you got that neighborhood complainer, but also I got another one I call the condo cop who's always going to come by and complain and put their 2 cents in, and you'll get a lot of information on those people.
yeah. Build a profile on all these people. Somebody remind me to show a brand new feature that I just learned about today on ChatGPT, the task feature. Just Daniel, keep that in mind for me because you know how forgetful I am. But let's talk about some other things. Email campaigns, an immediate email campaign within the neighborhood. You don't want to pick up the phone and call somebody, you're too shy or it's not your thing. Again, every one of us has felt that way. If you don't want to do it, slide dial or slide broadcast. So Hassan lists 1234 Banana Street and he sends up a ringless voicemail to Richard saying, where he actually dictates just to Richard, "Hey, Richard, I'm sorry that I missed you. I don't know if you noticed, but 1234 Banana Street's listed by me. And I just wanted to let you know a couple things about what's going on. There's going to be some noise or some people coming in here, and I just want to make sure that we don't inadvertently affect you. Or I wanted to know if you wanted to come take a look, or maybe you could answer a question for me about the neighborhood. Fill in the blank, script it out. You've now left a voicemail for this person. They know who you are. I mean, guys, if you haven't done it, I know it seems so obvious, but I've had clients say to me, wow, why didn't I ever think of that? That's what a lot of this is about. It really is. It's to come up with um, these strategies. Community events, it's another thing. I want to make a block party here. A neighbor of mine had it years ago, these block parties. And here's the great thing. I'm the ghost in the machine because I'm not going to make a casserole. I'm not going to cook a thing, okay? I'm going to tell everyone now who wants to bring the casserole? Who wants to do this? Now, if I have to do something, I call this guy with a fire truck that serves pizza. He's got an old fire truck and he pulls up. It costs me $450, which again, you don't want to spend money, then it's not for you. But he shows up with a ton of pizza for about an hour. And I pull him up an hour and a half after the block party starts. And now, oh my God, who brought the fire truck with the pizza? I've also done it with ice cream, if you don't like pizza. Kind of anti-American not to love ice cream. So if you don't love ice cream, I don't want to hear about it, okay? You'll be thrown out of the meeting. I'm kidding. I had someone say to me they hate ice cream. It just doesn't register in my mind. I absolutely love ice cream. Um, Knowing what the value proposition is that how are you actually helping the neighborhood? Make that argument for what you're doing. To go back to what Levette had said with the hundreds of people, this is a close cousin to farming. It's a subset of farming, but try and find out what are the assets of what you're actually bringing to the neighborhood, what your unique advantages are. All really important stuff. And again, I'm reading the workbook that we made up for this, guys. So please, please, please download this thing. At least read it or print it out. Use it. Like I said, take it in the bathtub, read it cover to cover, talk about it with your friends. This is what we want you to do. Um, you know, Here, the follow-up system. How many times do you need to follow up in order for it to be heard? for it to be memorized? How many, what the most effective people following up? What do the scientific studies say? This has been, again, this is not me. This has been every big motivational speaker has spoken about this. Any idea? Let me give you a guess. Is it one time, three times, five times, eight times, or 15 times? Paula,
6.
six. Okay. Anyone else?
7 to 8.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. The studies show that if you call eight times, the guy that stops at seven and then actually makes that eighth call doubles their output. That's what it doubles the output. Can you imagine that? So we need as many tools as we possibly can. Hassan's already using, we already established that before, the Sly broadcast. We've used all you need eight times.
Over what period of time?
Oh, good question. Good question. Over whatever period of time is going to be the most memorable for that particular transaction. So if you believe that the person's going to be, someone passes away or they're getting divorced, you're going to have to accelerate the actual time frame. If you're going to, you just can't touch somebody once a month. I would say if you're actually making what we would call a cold approach, it should be over the course of 2 weeks. It's a lot. And you're going to say to me, oh, but Ed, I hate when I get those calls. Great. A lot of people will. You'll have evidence of my being wrong. And you'll say, I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to have this as, I don't want to be the nudnik or the annoyance or the nudge or somebody who's an asshole. Whatever the word you want to use, you don't want to be that guy. I'm saying to you, fine, don't. But the guy that does or the woman that does makes all the money. So, and I want you to have the money. Then, of course, there's all the communication preferences. What are you actually going to do in your communication? We've established door knocking. We've established email. We would have snail mail and a variety choose your tools wisely. But it's a lot. I've always said it's a lot easier for me to get famous to 1,000 people, which I routinely do. It's a lot easier than that to get famous to 40 homes. If you really have, I've got my farm and I've got those 40 homes, darn it. I mean, I really have that in here. Let's take a look at this. How would you use Slide Broadcast voicemail to mass list of people with a customized first name and all of them? Thank you, Jean-Luc. One of the things that it's offering, and I haven't educated myself enough on it, but I know that they have an ability to clone your voice and then basically do like a mail merge. So you have a list of 1,000 people that it's going on there. Now Sly Broadcasts has the ability, instead of saying, hey there, I'm selling 1234 Banana Street, it will say, hey there, and then it will input the name. Hey there, Hassan, I am selling 1234 Banana Street. Hey there, Abby, I'm selling one. It'll actually mail merge the name in there. That should be a game changer. We need to educate ourselves here in my mastermind about it because I haven't used the tool yet. But if it works the way people are saying, game changer. Game changer, because now you're actually calling 1,000 people and it's personalized. And it makes a lot of sense to people like Eitan and I because we're studying AI all day long and we see that this is a great tool. We are going to master this. And if the technology is available, we are going to offer it to our clients as well. So just keep that in mind. It's pretty important stuff. Who had a hand up? Oh, Kenny, you got to unmute.
One thing on the circle farming is I'll do an open house. I'll do like a breakfast or brunch type open house, come over for coffee, and I'll get local bakery type of goods and stuff like that, and just for the neighbors. So it's a private open house because you want to get to the neighbors, not either hours before the other open house or on a Saturday. So that's another way to get to them,
Okay.
and get their information.
Okay. I love it. I read something this week, another technique that you might have. Who has an assistant? Could I just see a show of hands? How about this? Who doesn't have an assistant? 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4. Here's what you could do. Make one up. I've got a fake assistant. Her name is Dawn Foster, and she's an AI. And she has her own Facebook page. I'm not kidding. Okay, I don't lie about it. I don't make it seem like she's anything more than that. And she has her own email address. Actually, I think we just canceled that because we need to redo her email address in another way. But we had Dawn at bogenhomes.com. Now, why do we do this? Oh, make sure that you CC this. Now an email could come from that person, that fake person, and it could be another communication tip or tool, another second chance for you to actually get out there. People have a moral issue with it, fine. Let's debate it some other time. I'm just telling you what works. If you think it's embarrassing and you don't want to do it, don't do it. I've had some people say, "Oh, but that's lying." I don't care. It's not like you told them the lie about the value of a home. You're finding another way to leverage the opportunity. So, we're not the sweetest business guys. Sometimes you have to actually um, push something like this. And this is nothing to push. It's just another communication tool. Don't spam. What about DNC rules on slide broadcast? Abby, can you unmute yourself? Oh, do not call rules. Okay, I didn't pick that up. Yeah, again, you'll have to go through the local and national do not call rules and decide for yourself what you want to do. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that don't respect the rules, and I haven't heard of too many of them getting in trouble, but I would never tell you deliberately to break the rule. I'm saying there's those that do consistently win. I've yet to really hear about anyone who's been too badly hurt by it. But there are those and examples of who do, and it's going to be up to you about whether you want to break that rule or not. We here are not telling you to do that. We're just giving you the information. You could actually do whatever you want with that. Does that make sense, Abby? I hope. Maybe. Maybe. Thanks. Okay. Uh, ROI tracking. Again, tracking your numbers. You guys aren't tracking enough. If you track and you understand what you're tracking, you're then going to be able to look back at things and say, yeah, I knocked on 40 doors and I got 5 meetings, or I did whatever effort that I did. My letter writing. I need to get myself back into the letter writing. I've sent out 50 of them. I kind of stopped for the last couple of weeks because of my own busyness, but I wrote almost actually 60 of them, and I got uh, 3 heartfelt responses from this. And I had lunch with one of them. No deals from that. But if we're doing 60 to three responses to 60, that's 1 out of 20. That's five. That's 5%. It's a 5% response rate. Now, the law of large numbers kicks in. Is it going to be higher or lower over time? Well, we'll have to see what that actually means when you get into the hundreds of letters and when you get into that. Also, the real success of my letters might be completely invisible because that person is also getting my snail mail and social media invites and all that fun stuff, right? So you've got to decide for yourself. Letter writing, when you get an actual heartfelt letter, condolence card, congratulations on your daughter getting married, your home is beautiful, congratulations, whatever it might be, it is a gift. We are used to getting bills and junk mail in the mail. When you get an actual written note, it's something, and I'm so upset that schools today do not teach kids cursive penmanship. So, Paula, you see that? I remember I always got the star for best effort because my handwriting sucks. And the teacher, it was always the principal that walked around and looked at everybody, and they saw the anguish in my face that I'm really trying. And so, sure enough, I got the star. That was the start of Woke America, where everybody has to get a participation prize. But that's just me. Anyway, there's also a spot here for key takeaways, next steps, and questions for follow-up. Again, download this stuff, guys. It's really, really important that you do. Okay, so other questions, ideas, thoughts. Who's had some success, perhaps, with farming and ultimately circle prospecting that they want to share?
We knocked on some doors over the summer and did some circle knocking
Hmm.
for a listing before an open house, but you know, it's tedious. I went with my son, who's my business partner, and that man-woman combination, maybe they'll open the door where they maybe not open the door to David because he's 6'1" and a little intimidating. So that's what we did it together. And I'm not going to go in anybody's house anyway.
Of course.
So it's just like here, we're having an open house. If you know anybody for this house, you want to pick your new neighbor, that kind of thing. If you want to take a look at the house and see, kind of compare it to yours, anything just to have a conversation.
Okay. If it's tedious, what am I going to say, Paula? Read my mind here.
It's worth it, right?
No, if it's tedious, I'm going to say don't do it. Why
Well,
don't
it was
let me tell you
hot.
why don't this goes against what everyone might be thinking, but I tell you not to do it if it's tedious because it's not sustainable. unless you find a way to get yourself over that. This is about taking the Concorde to success. The Concorde to success, and for those who are too young, the Concorde was a very fast airplane once upon a time. The Concorde to success is finding out what selling style or methodology actually works for you and leaning in on that. So maybe this whole meeting today didn't resonate with you. Then fine, fuck it, don't do it. We'll come up with another thing that you're going to like. But let's come up with a strategy and a structure. That's the beauty of being in sales. I've met so many different people. Um, with so I've met so many different people who've had so many different approaches, and many of them have become wildly successful, meaning $1 million GCI or higher using a different technique. Paul, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I see Lisa Murray's comment, where you're getting the phone numbers. Yes, phone numbers are definitely easier. It's easy to pick up the phone and go, from house to house. It takes longer, but I think that the in-person, I've always been pretty successful at door knocking, FISBOs and expires and things like that. Um, we use True People Search and Fast People Search to get phone numbers,
Hmm.
and those are the most, you can even Google somebody, but again, um, if you back into, like, if I say for sale by owner and expired, I like to do the backstory. I want to get the public record. I want to find out who they are, Google them, because then you can see if they've been on the market before and you see some stuff about them. It's
Yeah.
quality over quantity because I want to find out. I mean, I may be calling another realtor and I don't want to call another realtor. So,
Yeah, we don't want to call the other Lisa. If I could throw something out at you with all of this, you have a title company that you use pretty consistently, Lisa? Maybe. Okay, maybe she can't unmute right now. Um, get a community report from your title company. You're paying them anyway. Put them to work. Get the community report from the title company. And then take that information and give me a call. And we can show you how to do something called skip tracing. The skip tracer will come up with the name and email address. Daniel, it's about $25 for 500 names, about sort
Yes,
of
sir.
something like that. Okay.
That's right.
So 500 homes, you get this. We get it to about 70 to 75% accuracy. It's not perfect,
so
right?
where do you get that skip tracer from?
We got ours. You can drop an email to Daniel at Bogen Homes, and he'll send you the guy that we've been working with. But you could go to a site called Upwork. Is it Upwork still, Daniel?
Fiverr has them
It's
also.
Fiverr. Sorry. Okay, now I'm dating myself. It used to be Upwork. Now it's Fiverr. Fiverr.com. And of course, Daniel is lightning fast here. So there's the link in there. If you want to get a virtual assistant for anything, or you go to Fiverr. If you want to get anybody to do graphic design, anyone to do Python programming, if you want someone to help you with your accounting, if you want anything, you go to Fiverr, and they will rate the person. You'll see if they've done 500 deals and they've got 4.9 stars, they're probably a safe bet. Does it mean you're not going to get screwed over? No, you could, but the likelihood is much less. Just like when you get into an Uber, when I see the guy with a 4.65 rating in Uber, that's it. I cancel the ride because he's an asshole. He's got to be. He's had several thousand rides, and of that, he's only got 4.65. And guess what? Every time I've been in the car with a guy like that, they've been the worst. It's terrifying. So what you do is you actually look at the ratings. That's something for you to consider. Who else? I'm trying to look around the screen here. Okay, Richard, go ahead.
Yeah, the content when you're doing this farming, where do you grab the content that you're going to use when you want to go farming?
Ah, yes, my low tech buddy. I always go to I use usually AI to try and pick the best content within the neighborhood and within you could say something like, yeah, let's do it right now. Since everybody likes this type of thing. We could go to ChatGPT. Again, I highly suggest you get the paid version, and you could enter something like um can you tell me what is happening in Delray Beach this weekend for children uh, uh, under 10 years old?
Consider changing the model.
What do you mean, a ton?
It's on the mini.
Ah, okay, you're right. Okay, well, it worked anyway. Delray Beach, free kids pizza making class. Art for everyone, Delray Beach on Sunday the 19th. Delray Green Market, Old School Square. I mean, it came up with all these things. Now,
Okay. Now, what are you
everyone,
going to do with all those things? You're going to
okay,
send a calendar of
again,
events?
now we could say, because it knows all about me, why don't you say, can you write a blog post about Edmund's best picks for this weekend with your kids? Make sure to plug my realty business in there, but don't be too pushy. I mean, again, we may need to iterate a few times to make it make sense. And now there's something that it actually creates. Let's see. Okay. Edmund's best picks for fun weekend with your kids in Delray Beach. Looking for family fun activities this weekend in Delray? Now we could do anything that we actually want with this. It's created this thing. We could actually now, when this stops, make um, this is a blog post. We could also make social media posts out of this with emojis. I happen to like emojis. I think they're fun. We could make a sales script to be able to call up and be able to say within your circle prospecting, hey, something's going on in the neighborhood this weekend. And to coincide with that, we're having an open house. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out here that you could actually do. And it gives you all those pitches. So that's one way to actually derive content. There's no excuse for any of you not to have content anymore. There's just none. You might not want to do it. That's something else. But content is out there. It's practically free. When I say ChatGPT is $20 a month, to me, that's free. That's free. There's no if you're not if it you know that it's going to be good for your business and you're actually in business, then buy the bloody thing. Just get over it. Don't cheap out on these things. If it's something that you're going to utilize, I definitely want to watch the pennies because I like to tell Aton in our business, I'm being bitten to death by a duck. I've got so many little quack little expenses that I'm getting, but I want you to all stop and think about the ones that actually really truly matter. Okay, a couple other things before we get to wants, needs, and brags. ChatGPT announced that they will now take tasks. So if you go into ChatGPT once again, let's take a quick peek here. For those of you who have the ChatGPT um, desktop
Plus.
version, and you'll have that if you pay the $20 a month. You can see here that they now have a new option. It's called ChatGPT with scheduled tasks. Can everyone see that? Maybe? Somebody say yes, please.
I can't.
Yes.
Okay, good. So now
Yes, yes.
it's
Yes.
this is ChatGPT's invasion into things like Follow Up Boss. I have a feeling they're going to become their own CRM pretty soon, and I can't wait because I think it's going to be amazing. So now I could say, can you make a new list um, of a new task list for my mastermind next week? Uh, call it uh call it Daniel, what's the topic next week? Just we'll if you could just throw that out to me or just tell me. Daniel, hello.
Yes, sir. It's on
Yep.
the chat.
I don't see it. What does it say?
SOP for real
Okay,
estate.
okay. Call it SOP. Um call it SOP and real estate. I mean something, it doesn't matter. So now it's now I could actually add this here and it's going to tell us, great. So now it has certain things that have already been in there. It actually makes up the list for me and I could iterate and change that list um, and add what I want to. We've already used ChatGPT, so it comes up with some ideas of what it would like to have in that list, and you could actually iterate and change it and make whatever list you want. I have personal lists, I have business lists, I've got my expenses lists. I could aggregate all of them. I could do, go ahead, Paula, what's up?
Sorry, where did you get that task list on ChatGPT? Is that on Pro
It's
or?
it's on the desktop version. Do you pay the
Oh,
$20 a month?
yeah.
Okay, so
I
download the
have it and I don't have that option. So Ed, you're so
you
special
No,
that
I'm
they
not so
gave
special,
you
Tom.
first.
What you
Yes,
need to,
yes.
I am nothing. I am your bitch, okay? I am not special whatsoever. Let me tell you what you do. They just rolled it out today, so you need
Oh,
to click the update button in ChatGPT, and you'll
Uh-huh.
then be able to get it. And Aton, by the way, my wise ass buddy, um, it will. If you don't have it, if they are rolling it out, you're going to get it within the week. So just be aware of that. I mean, well, you are in Portugal, so maybe it's a little bit different. But Paula, there's no
No,
reason why
you are special.
I'm special ed. That's what they call me, special ed.
but it's not on your phone, as far as
It's
you
not
know.
on your phone, but you can still access it. Now, how could you do that? You're walking down the street, you say, "Oh my goodness, I got to get Brussels sprouts, or my wife will kill me." I got to remember that. You dictate into your chat GPT, please remember to get Brussels sprouts and please time and date stamp it as well. It knows that today is January 15th and it will time and date stamp these things. So now you're building upon this. This is going to be a
You're
larger
correct. I updated it and I have the functionality now.
so I'm no longer special ed.
No, you're not.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure of that. So you could see for yourself what this is all about. It's going in the direction of productivity. I'm trying to make you all go from using it just as a library to find stuff out to being your work partner. This is the year that the AI agent is coming. Some of you are like, "Oh, it's terrifying. It's taking over." Maybe it is. Maybe you're right. But I would
So
much rather get
Ed,
educated and use it. I'm going to get you in a second, Eitan. I'm going to much rather get it and use it and embrace it and learn from it and make money from it than just be one of these people who sit on the sidelines and complain. Okay? Eitan, go ahead.
so where are the tasks stored?
It gets stored in the memory. And by the way,
So
I haven't had the full opportunity to study it the way I
I mean, it
want.
would be great if it connected to the calendar or to.
All of this will be available. Believe me, they're very smart people at OpenAI, right? And they want it all. They want to be able to get all of this. You're going to be able to make the connection. And guys, when it is, we're going to make a step-by-step thing for all of you to do. I guarantee it. It's just this is what Aton, Daniel, and I we sit around and think about ways that we can make business better with technology. So remember that. Aton, any other point? Aton, I hope I can meet with you right after the meeting, by the way. I just wanted to throw that out to you.
It would be my pleasure, Ed.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, this was interesting, guys. Next week, Daniel pointed out SOP, standard operating procedure. All of these things are changing now because of technology and how to lean into it. If anybody would like a copy of my model standard operating procedure, just please send an email to Daniel at Bogen Homes and we will share it. I want to make a few tweaks to it, Daniel, before you send it out, but we will get you an example copy of that. It's not necessarily perfect for you, but when you build a strategy and a structure, you tend to win. Okay, wants, needs, and brags. Who's got something they want to need, they want brag, they have something, now's the time to say it. It could be that your kid got an A in class or you just raised a bunch of money. I got a good brag for you. My daughter's dear friend, um, my daughter lives in Los Angeles, and her dear friend and her mother live together. The girl's 27 and the mother is older than that. Um, they've been in rental for 20 years, and their house burned down, regrettably. And this girl's a sound engineer, and all the sound equipment was in there. And even worse, she didn't have renter's insurance, as every lease, I'm sure, in California requires that you do. I would imagine that leases in California would require that you do. In any case, it was a foolish mistake. It doesn't mean that somebody should pay for it with their life. The mother and daughter didn't know what they were going to do. They literally have been left with, in a dire situation. And my daughter and her roommate, 6 days ago, started a GoFundMe. As of this morning, they raised nearly $44,000. I'm raising a high quality human. That means a
All
great
right.
deal to me. That's
Well,
something I'm bragging about. I'm bragging about how awesome that kid is for
wait,
actually stopping and thinking about it
yeah,
and
well,
doing
I'm
something
on the
and
road,
making
and that
a
is a
difference in
Can you
someone's.
put the link to the GoFundMe in the chat?
It's a good idea. I don't want everyone, you know what? No, I want, yeah, yes, I could put it up there, but no, I'm not. I want you to put up, I want you to all be charitable, but you don't necessarily have to do it for my charity. There's the United Way, there's American Red Cross, there's different things. There's your own house of worship. I want you to think about that. I give constantly to charities that mean something to me, and I really believe that there's call it God, call it karma, call it whatever it is, but I really do believe that stuff comes back to you because I've just seen the power of it over and over again. Now you might disagree with me, and that's fine, but it works for me. So if it works for me, my hope is that it could work for you. And yes, I'll do that. More wants, needs, and brags. Who else has got something they want, need, or brag about?
Hey, I want to say something.
Abby, please tell everyone who
All
you
right,
are.
hey, this is my first visit. Just turn on, and so I just want you to know I got some content out of it, and I
Great.
think a couple things about ChatGPT. So this is my 40th year selling real estate. Adopted to technology, and I've been using ChatGPT for about 2 years.
Okay.
So I use ChatGPT for everything, right? So then I was trying to do a like you can pretty much ChatGPT find out who you are, what do you do. So if you really use ChatGPT, paid version, I think that's what I use. You ask ChatGPT and say, "Hey, can you can you tell me what is my core values?" Just ask them deep question like you asking a psychologist. I was shocked. I was
Yes.
shocked, and I do a lot of mentoring stuff, and I made a commitment this year. I mean, I do every Friday. I do a deal called God First. I get people together at 7 a.m. For the last 20 years. Well, I do a lot of flyers, different kind of stuff on ChatGPT, and I couldn't believe some stuff ChatGPT told me who I am. I said, "Wow, somebody else is digitally reading me and tell me who I am." I said, that was empowering. So you should do that."
Better than any psychologist ever. Better than anything. To Abby, let me throw one other thing you might want to try. Based upon what you know about me, hey, ChatGPT, based upon what you know about me, how can I improve in my business and my sales? And Paul's excited. I'm going to pick on her in a minute. And it will tell you scary good, scary good. It knows all that. It will say, where am I likely going wrong with the business? Okay, I'll tell you what it told me. I've taken on too much. I've got my coaching business, my mastermind business, my realtor business. My social life falls to the side with all of this. I need systems. What ways can I get over it if I don't want to give any of it up? It's actually helped me with strategy and structure based on what it knows about me. Paul, go ahead.
Yeah, based on what you know about me, how can what systems or suggestions to expand my business? It was amazing
Yeah.
what this thing came up with. So now I need an admin person here. I have a VA, but it's not really working out. I just have that disconnect with somebody that's on the other side of the world. And I do have somebody that comes in a couple of days a week. So it's like, okay, can you take this and help me with this and implement it? Great suggestions. Amazing.
This
Do it.
I wish this all came with instruction manuals. If you just saw what I see, and I'm so happy Abby said this. Your words were word for word of what I said last week, by the way. So I hope to have you back, Abby. Um, but yeah, it's great stuff. Okay, anyone else wants, needs, or brags? And we don't have Terry here, so we're not going to be doing any singing today. But but it is good to have you guys. Okay, listen, this was a great meeting. I think that for those of you, for my coaching clients, if we don't have anything scheduled, please, 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 let's schedule it. And you could always reach out, Daniel at Bogen Homes. He's always there. And the guy's lightning fast. I can't believe how quick he sends his texts here. Um, it's Terry's birthday. Happy birthday, Terry. Also, Daniel, if you have the Google Map, if you could throw that into the chat here for everyone to see. I just want to share that with everyone so they can see where people are. Okay, take a look at my screen. And this shows you, oh, look all the way over here in Portugal. Who's that handsome devil? It's my partner, Eitan. We love that. Oh, I think we got a space in his last name here. Daniel, we need to fix that here. but we have his information. If we want to go all around the country, we got Melissa, we've got all the different people. If you want to be in, oh, look at this, there's Paula. Wow. So we have this stuff. If you want to be added to this list, and I think you should send your bio, photo, whatever information you want there to Daniel at Bogan Homes, and he will get that out to all of you. And lastly, those of you who are considering coaching or some of our marketing services, we are far more effective than a lot of the commercial uh, tools that are available, and we don't lock you in lengthy contracts either. So I am keen. That's my sales pitch today. So I am keen to meet with you if you are looking to do that. Guys, thank you so very much. If anyone has further questions, please stick around. I'll stick around for a few minutes. Eitan, after that, I need 10 minutes and then I'll send you a Zoom link. But thank you all for coming. And that was fun.
Thanks, Edmund.
Thank
And,
you.
and Hassan, I really like your background. Like I said yesterday, I'm glad that we had a one-on-one. That was fun.
Thank you. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Edmund, I have a quick question if you want to stick around.
Please, I can stick around, sure.
I'm getting my voice back a little bit.
Okay.
I need to figure out how to get some help and where to even start. I'm not that busy with business.
Mhm.
I'm working on other bullshit.
Good. Good or bad, I don't know. You're working on other.
But does that even make any sense? Like, I don't have time to pick up the phone because I'm trying to put together a Facebook post for an open house or this or that. I mean, it's always something.
Yeah, and it always will be. So here's two thoughts for you. One, look up the Pomodoro technique if you haven't done it. No matter what, you schedule 25-minute blocks of what work you need to do.
Okay.
And cut out everything. Shut off your email, shut off I'd work with a pencil and paper if you could. And you just do that. First of all, what's going to happen is you're probably going to go beyond the 25 minutes, but you will get more concentrated work done then on the calls that you need to make. And if that works and it wasn't so bad, you could add an afternoon 25-minute block to call. I've been blocking out my schedule like this. And again, it's a game changer. I didn't develop it. I'm just the messenger, but that's one thing that's worked rather well. And two, try and get into the AI side of things. The AI agents are coming and they are going to be they're going to become easier and easier for the average layman to utilize. To put it in perspective, AI can now write code. I started learning Python a year and a half ago, and I suck at it, but I can read Python, and this is a computer language.
I
ChatGPT,
am using ChatGPT a lot.
what?
I am using ChatGPT a lot. So
Okay.
I'm getting much better at that.
Just go online, try and look up ChatGPT newsletters, subscribe to them, and then funnel them into their own folder in your Gmail account if you have one. Have you seen the Gmail? Do you use Gmail, Lisa?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Are you subscribed to Gmail? Is it like your own like?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
The workplace thing.
So let me just show you this. This was a game changer for me as well, and a lot of people don't use it yet. And again, I wish they would. Here, let me just share my screen with you here. Okay, so I don't know if it's coming in the free version, but one of the things that you could do, if you look closely, see where it says help me write? This is now coming up on Gmail. So what you could do is actually click on that, and I could say, please send an email to Joe telling him that I am going to be in his area tomorrow around 3 p.m. and would he have time for coffee? And again, this is too stupid, but let's just see. And then it creates almost a chat GPT. Look at this. Dear Joe, I'll be in your neighborhood. I was wondering if we could have a quick coffee, blah, blah, blah. So, and now I could just insert it and boom, it's in the email, right? You could go much deeper with it, by the way. And you could, offer all sorts of stuff where I might take something like an email that I received from someone. So let's say I want to throw that out. I want to go back here. I could enter into this um, a comment. I just got this email from Aton. Can you read it and write this reply? And then, now it gets the context of the email that Aton wrote, and it will incorporate the reply, yes, no, I'd like to do this. The time's going to be okay, whatever it might be. And once again, it will give an incredibly detailed answer that you might not have considered before. So that's a little AI trick. Again, I just started using this in the last couple of weeks. We will be sharing more and more of these things with you guys, but I'm pretty blown away by what we could be doing and how you could really start leveraging. When you get an email from somebody, we can't see that, Eitan. You really should start to immediately go to AI and see how you could play with it, use it. I don't want you to replace yourself. I don't want you to take yourself out of the machine. Um, I'm not going to become a software engineer, but I am a software curator. I've created an app right now which we can roll out. I showed it to someone in my company. She pointed me to the CEO of our company. He said, go out to the West Coast and meet with our people out there, the tech people. They like it. They want to incorporate it into Douglas Elliman. Okay. I'm not a programmer. I'm just a realtor. I figured this stuff out based on all the feedback I got from all of you. And now I've got the ear of a major national corporation that wants to partner with me in software. That is what AI could deliver to all of you right now. That is something that if I could do it, you could do it. It's really not that you just have to have the desire to get that done. So that's basically it. And Eitan, we're not going to see the screen while you have your background. What are you doing, Eitan? He's doing something. It's capturing.
Let me know when you'd like to start.
ChatGPT, please begin.
Me, as a participant. Hi, Ed. Could you share some strategies on turning one listing into 4 through circle prospecting?
Sure. You could knock on doors. What do you think about that?
Ed, knocking on doors is definitely effective. How do you usually approach homeowners to build rapport quickly?
I oftentimes talk with them about what's going on immediately in the neighborhood, about perhaps new neighbors that moved in or property values. What do you think of that?
Me, as a participant. That sounds like a good approach. Do you find that highlighting recent sales or market trends helps in starting those conversations?
Sure. Well, Eitan, we get the point with it. Can you stop him? So Eitan's kind of letting the cat out of the bag here. Sometime this year, we will be having a artificial participant in this meeting that I'm going to be able to lean on and immediately get information that all of you are going to need. It's not going to be that, but that's what we're working on. Again, I don't want to replace you guys. I want you guys to get wealthy. I want you to succeed with all of this, and I want you to get ahead of the curve. Is it going to displace us? Of course it will. Anyone who says it isn't is an idiot. I mean, of course, given that I now could crank out material faster than ever cranked out before. For those of you who embrace it, I think there's a real opportunity, although I still think we'll be somewhat displaced. For those of you who don't, it's going to be a real problem. I mean, this is years ago. What was everyone see the movie or the play Other People's Money? One of the things that they said in that was, I bet years ago there was a company that made buggy whips. And then buggy whips got less and less, and people weren't buying buggy whips until the last buggy whip company was left, and it made the best damn buggy whip you have ever seen. But it still went out of business. Why? Obsolescence. It's, stuff actually happens. Yet we're trying very hard to make us not obsolete. But in order for you to really do that, you've got to be able to embrace this tech and you've got to be able to take a look at it. At least that's what I'm all about. So if you're participating with me here, you've got to be prepared for more of this. If you disagree, then we could part as friends. But this is going to be something that I'm leaning in on and something that I know is going to have a great effect on everyone's career. Okay, guys, I'm going over. Eitan, I need about 5 minutes now. It's really great to see all of you. Make appointments. I really want to see you. Lavette, I owe you some time. I was not able to make to be able to get there, but again, try and book it again so that we could do that. And I look forward to seeing everybody next Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern time for another exciting episode of Rain Nation. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks.
Have a good week.